welcome to a page that I have been dying to create for, I'm not even going to lie, and I'm not even ashamed of it. I've had this page in my mind for about 3 months. It's okay. I know, Scrapaholics Anonymous, I need to go and, I can't help it. Okay, so what I've done is I've used Poppy Crafts A4 double-sided sticky paper, right? Oh, sticky. It's a sticker is what it is. It's just clear in between the two sheets. And it's double-sided, so you can attach it down as I am here. I'm putting it on the bunny. I've cut out 2 bunnies. They are cut to you Cutfiles. I will have a link for them down below. Now, obviously it's one bunny, and what I did is when I cut it, I flipped it, so I've got a mirror image. So I've got a bunny facing each direction, but it's the one cut file. So if you're interested in that cut file, it'll be linked below, and the title was from Cut to You as well. So that was just perfectly sitting there, and I went, you know what? There's the title for my page. I knew I wanted to do bunnies. Now, I wanted to do flocking. Remember, if you're one of my OGs, you will know that I actually had never done flocking until last year. And Lincraft came to Caboolture, and we got some bits and pieces. Anyway, I grabbed some flocking, never used it before, had no idea how to use it, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, so I loved it. And as soon as I worked out how I like to use it, I'm sure there's a million different ways to do flocking onto paper. This for me is the easiest way to get a nice even coverage. So I'm just putting it on there and I'm just rubbing it all around. Now this grey flocking powder I actually got from eBay, and it was an Australian distributor. And don't be afraid when it says to you that the flocking powder is 15 grams or something like that. Flocking powder weighs nothing. So even though the bag turned up and I'm like, oh, I hope I've got enough there for 2 bunnies, I had more than enough for 2 bunnies. Don't they look so cute? I absolutely love them. They're so fluffy and soft. I absolutely love it. Anyway, but I digress. So that's what I did with my bunnies. Now, what I didn't want grey bows. So what I decided to do was then transfer. This is something that someone asked me the other day, when you use your mixed media on your mat, does it bother you? No, it doesn't. However, now I'm going to, it doesn't bother me using it on the mat, but that mat that I had just used was a brand spanking new one. And because this one already had mixed media on it and it's not as tacky as it used to be, I figured it's just as easy to transfer it onto here. It's not one of those super intricate dies where, or cut files where it's, that you can't sort of piece back together again. So I just transferred it over here and I pulled out my distressed crayons. I haven't used these in a little while. So I thought, you know what, these will be really bright because Easter is about bright, colourful eggs, all that sort of stuff. And they are, that's the photos that I'm scrapbooking. These photos were taken years ago. My daughter is now nearly 24, so it was quite a while ago. Now I decided that I wanted to try and blend. I know this sounds really weird, but because these distressed crayons are so creamy, they blend together beautifully. So you can do a little bit of, so what I ended up doing was peacock feathers and, oh, what's the blue? I didn't write it down. Don't worry, it's really close to me. I can find it. It is the blue Mermaid Lagoon. I nearly said Salty Ocean, but it's Mermaid Lagoon. So I used Mermaid Lagoon, and then on the yellow one, I used, don't worry, I am still there. I'm coming back. I used mustard seed and spiced marmalade. Now, I haven't used these for ages, but I thought, you know what? I've been using my watercolor pencils a bit. Let's use the crayons. Show them some love. So that's why I pulled those ones out. Now, I'm doing something and I'm slightly off camera. Sorry about that. Now, this is where I decided I needed a little bit of shine. You know, I need shine on my pages, okay? Shine, shimmer, glitter, reflection, all of that stuff has to be on my layouts. I love that sort of thing. Now, this particular collection that I'm using, it is the Paper Rose Studio Easter Sunday collection. I bought this collection last year when I was busily not having a clue what I was really doing with my channel, didn't really have a direction. I was still at that stage, I was running with some advice and it turned out to be great advice, but just get content up there. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it up there. So anyway, so I did that. I was doing that and I was buying collections. I was buying full collections thinking, then I realized, stop, tap out. That is not you. That is not how you scrap. This is where you're running into problems. And whilst I love this collection, it's not bright enough for me. So that is why I decided, you know what? I'm going to brighten this up and I want to use it. I want to use the Easter eggs and the bunnies and all that sort of stuff that's in the pack, but yeah, some of them, they're not bright enough for me. Sometimes I like to do a nice subdued layout, and that's great, but this particular situation, I wanted it to be bright because the Easter eggs in the photo were really bright. This is where, now I don't know if you've run into this problem, but if you look at your photos that you used to take, like when Taylor was first born, sort of back in 99, the photos back then, obviously we were using a camera, there was no digital screens on them. It was just very sort of take a photo and hope you get a good photo, you know, and then you find out after you've printed it. Now, these photos that I'm at now, which is about 2009, 2010, the iPhone was out. Okay, compared to the iPhone we have now, I look at it and now I can actually see how bad the photos sort of were working out. But yeah, I've found these photos are nice and clear and you can see the bright colors, which is great. Now, while I've been waffling, so I have colored in the title, I've popped the letters out, I've colored in the title, and I've used the same distress crayons to add the brightness. And I did add the Lunar paste. I used Shooting Star and Tropical Tango and added that to the title just to give that the bright boost so it balanced out. Now, you can see this gingham that I've got. It came with the splatters on the diagonal, so the top right and the bottom left, okay? But for me, there wasn't enough white splatter. There was splatters, yes, but I needed more white splatters. Now, in my mind at this point, what I'm actually wanting to do, I added some extra white splatters because I figured that would be difficult to do down the track. Okay, there you go. You can see some of the Easter eggs out of the collection. Now, what I decided to do was add the white splatters then, and if it's still not enough at the end, I can cover things up or whatever and go from there. But I actually changed a little bit of where my brain was going. So I'm just gluing down my border for my title. Hindsight, I probably should have moved it over ever so slightly further to, for some reason I plopped it down there and then it was almost instant. I knew that it was in the wrong spot. I really should have moved it over maybe one more gingham check, but that's okay. It's all right. It's the mistake on today's page. And as I say, when you are using art glitter glue, there is no time whatsoever for your mistakes. You just have to, it's too bad, so sad, you just got to do it. So now I've glued my photo. Now, this is really random for me. I don't normally stick my photos down first, but because I needed them to be positioned so the bunnies weren't all hidden or whatever, because essentially it's almost the same photo. So I've popped that down. Now I'm just adding in. Now I did, okay, so there's no glue in there at the moment, but I wanted to see whether I wanted to raise up the bows or if I wanted to just glue them down. I put the first one down. I went, nah, I just want to put them straight in the cut file. I didn't want to raise them up. So then I go back and glue them in, which works a treat. Absolutely love how those bows turned out. They were just, the distress crayons, they are fantastic. I got mine from Crazy Craft Obsession. I know they've still got some in stock, so if you wanted to get some, they're fantastic. They really are. Now, I was just having a play with one of the Easter eggs on the side there, because I've got some Easter eggs that were left over from a page I did 12 months ago, and because I fussy cut the fussy cut elements out of the page. Now, I had half a dozen bits and pieces left over, and I thought, I like the size of these little eggs down the bottom. I like them there, but something was bugging me and I didn't know what it was. So I switched and I went, okay, do the title and come back to the eggs. There's something not right with the eggs. And this, look, I was doing this today and I was in and out. I had mum duties. I had training to get kids to, all sorts of stuff, even though they're on holidays. So it was just bedlam. But I managed to get this page done. I don't know how I did, but I did. So now this layout is going up on Thursday, which is the day before Good Friday. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Easter. I will continue to post over the long weekend, and we've always got my Facebook page if anyone needs a shout out, or you know, like there's a lot of people out there that they don't do a lot for Easter. These people out there that don't even celebrate Easter, and they would like the weekend to just go ahead as per normal and, you know, normal life. So as I accommodated for that at Christmas time, I'm going to also accommodate that at Easter time. So I will endeavour to have videos up. I'm going to do a layout share for later in the weekend, because I have got a massive amount of layouts that need to go into albums. So have to do a layout share before I can do that. So what am I doing? Okay, so now I've gone through and I've put the double-sided tape. It's easier for me to put it into the letters like this than putting it on the back of the letters. It just makes it go down so much quicker. See? Way quicker. So if this is something that you like, I quite often, I'm going through a thing at the moment where I really like putting the cut file pieces, lifting them up rather than backing the cut file. I always struggled with the backing of the cut file. I struggle with that because it doesn't have enough, it doesn't have texture, it doesn't have depth for me. So that's the main reason I like doing it like this. So the yellows, obviously they match with the bow down the bottom, and the blues and the greens match with the bow down the bottom. So it's coming across, and then if you look at the actual Easter eggs on the page, they are good as well. It was at about this point that I realized where my brain was going with this, and I'm able to articulate finally what it actually is. So see the splatters at the top and then the splatters that are next to the bunny. If you can imagine, have you seen Forrest Gump? Hopefully you've seen Forrest Gump. If you have, you know the feather, you know how it like swirls and then the feather just keeps going and it swirls down and around and then it lands on someone's shoulder and they walk, and that's what I'm picturing these spots doing. Okay. I don't know if you guys now think I'm crazy, but this is where my inspiration comes from. You guys want to know where the inspiration comes from? This is it. Now, those spots towards the end of this layout, you'll see what I do to draw more attention to them. So I thought they just needed more white splatters, but I fixed it. Now, this is what I decided to do with the Easter eggs, that they just looked a bit ho-hum with my bright bows and my bright title. I'm totally okay with the check in the background because it's dull, it's not fighting for the attention, but the Easter eggs got lost. So I pulled out my Lunar pastes. Originally I tried using the crayons, but they didn't work because the Paper Rose Studio, their papers have a slight sheen to them, and I found that it just wiped straight off. Now, I know that the Glossy Accents goes over this beautifully, not a problem. So that's when I went, oh, maybe the Lunar paste. And then I thought, I've got all these liquid pearls. What am I doing? So I pulled out the liquid pearls and I decided to literally just stipple. That's what I'm doing. I'm stippling these paints on here to create texture. Not for anything other than just to create a bit of texture and a bit of difference between each one. So as you can see, it's leaving a bit of a mark. Now, what I ended up doing, see how it leaves, the brush is leaving a mark in it? When I'm finished, what I actually decided to do was go over these with the Glossy Accents on top, and it looks magic. I absolutely love how it looks. It's highlighting it highlights the eggs and the texture in the eggs. It looks so cool. Absolutely loved how it turned out in the end. So it was at this point that they were dry. Liquid pearls doesn't take very long to dry, and neither does the Lunar paste actually. So it's one of those things that you can actually use it halfway through doing a layout and give it 5 minutes and bam, you're laughing. It's dry, it's good to go. So see, now they're a bit brighter. I think it looks better. I think it just looked a bit blur at the bottom. And because the bunnies are grey, I didn't want it to sort of go dark, rainy, broody, you know, that sort of feel. So, but I absolutely love bunnies. We don't have them here in Queensland. I'm sure someone has them, but we don't have them. They're actually illegal to have in Queensland. But I love them. Their little noses, the way they twitch and stuff. Absolutely love them. So, yeah. Now, it's at this point, I've glued down my eggs. They're all over the place, and this is me trying. So I've been out, I collected Jen from gymnastics. Now I'm back and I decided, wow, once I put that Glossy Accents on top of, so that blue one, I actually used Bahama Bay liquid pearls on it, and wow, because it's pearlescent, then because I stippled it and then putting the Glossy Accents on top of it, it looks amazing. So good. Now I'm just going around, and I have to be honest, this was hurting my hand at this point because this is the world's biggest egg. If you're going to Glossy Accents, try and use smaller pieces, because let me tell you, it could just be my hands, but yeah, it's one of those moments. So I did this. I absolutely loved how this turned out. And by this point, I knew that I wanted to add some more bling to the page and some extra bits and pieces. So this is me trying to use the very last bit out of all my bottles before I open the next one. So then I just added a couple of drip drops up here, and I knew that I wanted to add some bling, but I thought if I add some clear, that'll add extra reflection. So that's something that I do sometimes, and I just like it. I like the look of it. So I'm adding, now these blingy bits are the ones that I got from, what was the store I got those from? It was online, it was AliExpress, but it was called, I'm looking in my book to see if I can find it. Alina Crafts. Alina Crafts, that's where I got those blings from, and I think they're fine. They're great. They're different. They're completely different to the Pink Fresh Studio ones. But hey, to each their own. It's what you can afford. It's what you can do. I love both of them, so I will continue to use both. And all I'm doing here, so now can you see the swoosh? So can you see how I'm swooshing from the top down around the bunnies? That's, you know, that's where my head was going with this. So I've added some white, some gold, some platinum, some gold pearl. I've added lots of different bits in there along with the blingy bits, and I absolutely love how it looks. The still photos will be over on my Facebook wall with the Facebook group if you want to pop over there and have a look, all the up close and personal stuff. And let me know if you're doing any Easter scrapbooking this long weekend. You know, I mean, obviously we're spending it with family and all that sort of stuff, but you know, you might find yourself at night time when the kids gone to bed, you might find yourself gravitating towards the craft room for some sanity. You know, let's be honest, sometimes it's the quietest place and it's the best. So here is I do run a gold pen on the outside. So it's on the white piece that I backed it onto, not on the actual gingham piece. So this is my layout, guys. Let me know what you think down below. I am going to endeavor to sit here and try and get a good angle on everything so you can see what's going on. There is a lot to unpack on this layout, but let me know what you think. Like I said, the cut files are from Cut to You over on the Cut to You website. That's cut, TOUYOU. And I'll have that link in the description along with the list of everything that I've used and where I've bought things from if I know where they're from. Now, I'm showing you there that it's nice and velvety and soft. The Easter eggs at this point are not dry, that's why they're still a little bit cloudy, but if you jump over to the photos, you will see that it's crystal clear and it's dry and it's beautiful. So what else can I tell you? We are over 1,400 subscribers now. Once we hit 1,500, we're going to have a giveaway. So I'm hoping that we can do it in May. So it's so we line it up with National Scrapbooking Week. What do you reckon? National Scrapbooking Month? What do you reckon? I think we can do it. I don't know how we can do it, but I think we can do it. So I absolutely love these bunnies. I love how they turned out. And all those beautiful dots, the swoosh, I just love this layout. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will chat to you again soon. Bye for now.